Hey everyone, this is Rock Painting 2.0. I am trying rock painting for the second time, so we're jumping into materials here. Of course I had my rocks, and by the way, I always get the wrong kinds of rocks. You do not want polished rocks, just take note of that. Also using a little bit of acrylic paint as well as some paint markers. I have two Prismacolor markers here and a deco color in the colors silver, gold, and copper. I'm also going to be using some watercolors today. Very exciting. I haven't used these on rocks before. And then, of course, since we're going to be using paint, we're going to want to include some paintbrushes. I personally like synthetic haired brushes. They're a little bit sturdier, a little bit easier to use for me. I'm also going to be using some gel pens, brand of your choice. I also had a white gel pen, which I didn't end up using, and then oil-based Sharpie markers. I also got a shiny black spray paint, a flat matte white, a clear glaze spray, and then a paint-on spray, and I'll let you know more about those later. So first I primed the rocks. I painted some of them white with spray paint and some of them black with spray paint. One thing you want to note is do spray them from multiple different angles because, you know, they're rocks. There's a lot of crevices and nooks and crannies. You want to make sure that you get them nice and covered from all angles. And then for the first one, I'm starting off with my watercolors. As you can tell, you guys, you can do this however you want. This is like totally subjective to what you want to see on your rock. But I did end up putting a lot of water on and then kind of dropping the pigment into the water and letting it spread out. And I thought that was really, really pretty. Then with rocks, I like to mix media. So then I went in with my acrylic paint and just put these abstract kind of box shapes on. You do want to make sure you let everything dry really well. As you can see, I didn't let that last one dry and it kind of blended in with the blue, which was still really pretty, but you do want those color distinctions. And then another thing that's great about watercolor is if you mess up, you can just dilute it with water, clear things out, and then add whatever you want on top, which is what I did with the blue in the bottom corner. Then I went back in with my gold and just added a couple of little abstract details. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I love kind of geometric abstract prints, so that was the vibes I was going for with this rock. And my metallic marker, the Prismacolor Gold, it ended up working great. So I highly recommend this product. It was $4 and it did stand up to my sealers as well. By the way, I'm not going to seal that rock because it has watercolors. I know it's highly likely that they'll run. Okay, so next I'm going to be doing this tropical palm print rock. I really wanted to mimic the print, or kind of like I was super inspired by the print on that journal that you saw there. So I'm starting off with a rock that I spray painted white. And again, I used a matte spray paint, which I actually don't recommend. I really wanted to let you guys know that because I like to tell you everything that I learn, you know, while I do these like crafty experiments, and the flat matte didn't end up working for me. It was just a little bit bumpy and it didn't create a smooth surface like I really wanted. So as you can see, I'm just going in with my gel pens here. These are the Moonlight gel pens and the Souffle gel pens. And they worked really great on most of my different rock painting surfaces here. Even though this was kind of like a gritty, rough surface, I was able to get them to write on here and they still showed up nice and opaque. By the way, I did the green layers and then I went in with some highlight shades because that's what was on the notebook. So first I went in with a lighter green and then I went in with the metallic green, which I thought, I love this, y'all. I think it's so pretty. I'm really into these tropical leaves. They're very trendy right now. Are you into them? Let me know. Are you digging the palms? And then same kind of concept on this rock, just using the Sharpie marker, which actually worked really good on this painting surface as well. I'm just mimicking that by doing the same palms in black and then adding highlights of gold. I really like to do my rocks in like collections, so I like to have rocks that match and look really nice together. Okay, so moving on, this particular rock is one of the ones that I sprayed with the shiny black. So this was a more inexpensive spray paint, and one thing that I did not like about it is that it was repeatedly coming off on my hands. Now, I think that that is because I had the wrong type of rock. I had a polished rock, and the best type of rocks for rock painting that I am now finding are ones that are super, super smooth, but you don't want them to be polished, because anything that's polished just really inhibits everything from sticking. You know what I'm saying? So it just makes it harder to get your materials to adhere and apply properly with crisp lines and the opacity that you're seeking. And so priming rocks by spray painting them or adding acrylic paint, it's going to help you to overcome that so that your rocks stick really well. Well, for the shiny spray paint, it should have worked, and it probably would have on a non-polished rock. But because my rock was polished, it kept coming off on my hands and on my table, like on my little surfaces. So definitely learn from my mistake there and don't get polished rocks from Michaels. Okay, so talking specifically about this rock, I really loved my gold pen. It worked the best on all of my different surfaces. It was the one I could count on the best, and the one that performed the best after sealing as well. It really held up to my sealers. And this rock is inspired by mandalas and henna. So I like to kind of offset them. I think it looks like lace on a rock if you offset it, and you can see the kind of delicate edges, and they're very detailed. And then I tried this same type of style rock with my deco color. If you can hear my dog itching, his collar's moving around. But this worked with the deco color as well, but I will say I didn't love the deco color as much. I felt that it kind of soaked up some of the black, and the metallic aspects of it separated, so it ended up looking more like a brown. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. Okay, and then for the next rock, again, I am using one of the ones that has been spray painted with the black, more shiny finish spray paint. And I'm doing a little bit of faux calligraphy on this one. If you need to see more faux calligraphy videos, I will link to my calligraphy playlist down below. But as you can see, the gel pens did bleed a little bit on this surface. I had to go over them a couple of times to kind of get the opacity that I wanted and to make everything show up great. But they did end up working. And then I am just going in with my gold pen to add a little drop shadow, just to add a little bit more depth to the lettering there. This is very simple. And one thing that I really liked that I learned from this rock was that the gold metallic pens and the gel pens, they layered really well. So I was able to kind of touch up where I needed to. I ended up touching this one up off camera as well. But I could layer them to make sure that everything looked like opaque and was touching where it needed to. So I loved that about those. And then this is the last rock that I'm going to be doing today, I believe. But what I wanted to say about it is, if you don't feel like you're a very creative or artistic person, do something where you just throw on a lot of details, because that kind of commitment and that follow through with details, people see it, and when they see it, they're like overcome by all that beautiful work. So it makes it look a lot more wonderful than it actually is. And then as far as sealing, guys, I really ended up liking the Triple Thick Glaze better. The satin varnish that I got was kind of blurring my other rocks. So I definitely recommend the Triple Thick Glaze. Just make sure that you give all of your rocks a nice, hefty amount of time to dry. I let mine dry for a solid 3 days before I sprayed mine. That just decreases the chances that your materials are gonna bleed when they get that shiny finish on them, when they get sprayed. So, okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I will see you guys very soon with the next one.